Hi guys, it's Chris with City Girl Homestead. And time for another video in this series of Don't Freak Out, know what to stock, money savings, all different kind of things. And I came and I watched a video, and this one is something that I honestly have not thought about, like hardly any of it. But during times that, if you guys remember during COVID and everybody flocked to the store and they ran out of toilet paper and flour and sugar and blah, 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 all kinds of stuff they ran out of. Well, this person did a list of 13 things that people don't rush to during an emergency and that are very, very important for your stock. And actually, some of this I think I'm going to get and put into my stockpile because he was right about one thing. When we, as preppers, we pretty much prep the same things, flour, rice, pasta, whatever it happens to be. We have that big old long list of stuff that we prep up. And the surprise is, so do all the other preppers. So those things become short, and so unless you have tons and tons and tons in your stockpile, you're going to be going after the same things that the other preppers are doing. So I thought this was a great video, and I do want to get a few of these things just because I think it's important to have into my stock as well. And none of these were expensive, so that's a good thing. Number one was a bouillon cubes, and I guess you can buy them in big portions and then, put them into smaller portions and vacuum seal them or whatever it happens to be. One cube has a nutritional value of 2 cups of broth, which that's quite a bit actually. And I've never thought about making broth from that, but I've got the chicken and beef and ham powder, and that stuff's expensive. So the bouillon cubes actually would be cheaper. The next thing, I tried this a couple times and it does taste good. I just haven't thought to get it. And I bought it because of having gluten, so, trouble once in a while. Is nutritional yeast. He says put it on popcorn. 2 tablespoons equals 8 grams of protein. And you can put it into just about everything. And they say that it's a great substitution for dairy. And, I'm not sure how expensive it is, but it doesn't taste bad either. I did try that before. Number 3 is full-fat coconut milk. And something that he brought up, that when we're doing our stockpiles, do we always think about dietary fat? And coconut milk is loaded with dietary fat that we would need to, to survive. Now this I've never even heard of before, so I want to look at it and see what it is. Potato flour. It lasts 10 years. It does help with celiac disease. Resistant starch, good for gut bacteria. And it slows the digestion. Meal, or you can use as a thickener. Now, I do have canned butter downstairs that I've done years ago, and it's still really good. But ghee, he says, never expires. Pure butter fat, and it doesn't go rancid because all of the liquid is taken out of it. So maybe I need to try doing ghee instead of just the butter. But the butter downstairs that I have, I canned probably 4 years ago, and it's still beautiful. I should bring some up, have Tom bring some up and start cooking with it. Number 6 is dried seaweed. Not something Tom wants to hear, but it has iodine, which is good for your thyroid. Iodine can actually, when you're short on it, can actually make you very, very sick. It makes it so that you can't think clearly. It does a lot of things that actually kind of messes you up a little bit. Now, see, I'm short on salt in my body. I don't know why. We're going to get blood work done again soon, but, everybody can be short things. Like I found out that, if you're diabetic, which we are, you can, you become short on, several different things. Vitamin E is one of them, or vitamin D, sorry. So there's a few different things that, if you have things going on, And then to be short, iodine is not a good deal. You want to make sure that you take care of that. Like Tom actually gets short on iron, so he takes iron pills every day. All right, number 7, and I've never tried these. Maybe I should buy a small package and try them. Chia seeds. 1 teaspoon has more omega-3 than a serving of salmon. That's a big deal. And I guess they used to use them as field rations in Asian countries because they do expand and they make a full meal and they're full of vitamins. They're good for 5 years as long as you store them properly. I know, you guys will have to let me know. And also it causes a gel in your stomach so that you stay full longer. You guys will have to let me know if you've heard of these before, but when I watched that video, I'm like, I need to get that out because we do all store the same things. And there are different things that we could be storing. And like he said, you know, everybody went to the big box stores and Walmart and, you know, all those different places. But how often do you look at the Asian markets or the Mediterranean markets or any of those? And you could probably go in there and they'd be stocked up on all of this stuff. Number 8 is quality instant noodles from your Asian markets. They have 8 to 10 grams of protein per serving. And you can get them in instant noodle packets. And so they wouldn't be like the ramen that we have. They're healthier. And then they usually have actual, you know, freeze-dried vegetables and stuff in them. Ramen is great. It's cheap. But there's no veggies in there. So to add that to it, I think would be a big, big thing. Never heard of this before either. 9, textured vegetable protein, TVP. 1 tablespoon of, or 1 pound of TVP is about 3 pounds of ground meat. When you do it correctly, it's close to a ground turkey or ground beef. It has shelf life of 10 to 15 years, and you can add it to anything calling for ground meat. And you can add bouillon for more flavor. Never heard of it. I do want to check that out. Now, I do have some in stock, but after I've seen all the uses for it and stuff, I might actually start thinking about it, and it makes me think that I need to store it properly. Well, I do have it out of the cardboard, so that's the good thing. But powdered milk. It has a 20-year shelf, 20-year dairy supply. But you got to get it out of the cardboard box. Buy in bulk, put in Mylar bags. You can also do like my mom and dad, when we were broke, when we were younger, my mom, we used to get our bags of milk. They were bags that here in Lansing, they didn't have like the plastic. It was just like a clear see-through bag that you got of milk. So she had gotten a gallon jug, and she would put half powdered milk and half milk in there. She'd buy vitamin D. And you know, honestly, us kids drink that all the time, and I never noticed the difference. And if you get used to doing that, then if, you know, things really did get bad, it wouldn't be very much to switch to just all powdered. But I mean, I haven't done that in years, but that's what my mom used to do. Another one, I've never tried these either. Hard winter wheat berries. They last for 30 years, a good alternative to rice. And you can grind them, you can cook them, all different kinds of things. So you'd have to look into some of the stuff, you know what I mean, to see if the uses would be good enough for you. But, I mean, when everybody else is going for, you know, your flour and everything else, it might be a suggestion. This one I've never thought about either. Red lentils. 7-minute protein. It cooks in 7 minutes, a lot less than beans, etc. It has 18 grams of protein per cup. And it's a 10-year storage life, and they're at the Indian stores and Asian stores. And I did try, I don't remember what kind it was, lentils in to make sloppy joes, and they actually turned out really good. You couldn't tell much difference between that and the burger once you added something to it. But 10 years of storage and that much protein, that's a thought. And I'm sure we can find recipes and stuff like that on Pinterest and other things for red lentils. And 7 minutes, you think about how long rice or potatoes or anything like that takes to cook. If we really did get in a bad situation, you don't want to use up all that gas just cooking that stuff. So 7 minutes, that's not bad. The other one I sincerely have never heard of, but I've heard of miso soup. But this is a miso paste in a tube format. They used to have it standard in wartime in the Asian countries because it actually has, it's fermented soybean paste. It's loaded with zinc, manganese, copper, and other vitamins. And it's also really high in probiotics, which support your gut health. So there's your 12 things there. You know, take notes, whatever it happens to be. There is a couple things in there that I do want to try because, you know, not just because I want to stock that stuff up and maybe never use it, but because it's loaded so much in protein and other vitamins, it might be something that you can use in your everyday, you know, pantry to use that will get you the vitamins and stuff that you need. Because they say a lot of what we stock up, you know, you get tired of the same things, first of all, but it doesn't always have the fats and the proteins that we need in those things. And like the one product, think about that TVP. Think about how much our canned or dried meat costs. And if you could get 1 pound of that to do 3 pounds of meat and very high in proteins and stuff, think about the lesser amount of space that would take in your pantry. So, just a few ideas. I don't know if anybody's using any of them, but I watched that and I thought, oh my gosh, I got to share this with my friends. So, let me know if you like the series that I'm doing, you know, if you think that it's going to be helpful or if it's taking some of the fear away from you, because we don't want you to be fearful. And we want you to have a stocked pantry, and we want you to have food that you can eat, even if it's just like, you know, a 3-day, you know, outage of your power or whatever. You need to be able to cook and to eat and to survive. Everybody thinks of our pantries as the end of the world stuff. And, you know, back in 2020 when I first started doing that, I kind of did think that way. But actually now it's job loss. You know, like hours cut back. We had that in the beginning of the year with Tom's job. You know, somebody's sick and you can't go to the store. COVID proved that to us. It's not just for the end of the world. It's for everyday use because you want to rotate through. And it's good to know that you can provide for you and your family for weeks on end if you need to. So, no fear. Nope, don't listen to all that crap. You guys just be prepared and ready. And maybe some of these ideas will help you do that. You guys have a blessed day. Be a blessing, and I'll see you at supper. A recipe I cannot wait to try.